Hello, friends. I am Michael Felker. I am the pastoral coach and church consultant for Kicking at the Darkness, a ministry that is designed to bring hope, clarity, and strength to church leaders, to their families, church teams, really just anybody that is trying to thrive both personally and professionally in a environment in a world where sometimes that can be difficult. All right, we're giving ourselves out to others and sometimes we're not receiving, we're not taking time to care for our own spiritual well-being. And so really, I want to care for those who care for others. And that's really what I'm all about. And so today is December 1st, 2024. It's a couple of reasons why I wanted to film this today. One is it's the first day of Advent. And Advent is the season where we are focusing on the light of Jesus coming into the darkness. And for a ministry called Kicking at the Darkness, I couldn't help but want to give you a little bit of background of why that is so meaningful to me. Why did I name this organization, this ministry, Kicking at the Darkness? Well, many of you know that I am a big fan of the band U2, and you can judge me all you want. And when we meet and have a conversation, I'll share with you, the reasons why you're wrong, and that U2 is the greatest band in on the planet. I'm sorry that they put a free album on your phone and you don't know how to delete it. I'm sorry about that, but let's just put all that in the past. Let's start on a good note. But U2 has a song on their album Rattle and Hum, where the lyric says, "I heard a singer on the radio late last night said he's gonna kick the darkness till it bleeds daylight." That's a great line. And Bono's actually talking about another song, another artist. That a man named Bruce Cockburn, and Bruce is a great storyteller with his music. And the song that Bono is referencing, hearing on the radio late last night, was a song called Lovers in a Dangerous Time. And it talks about, it's almost kind of like a Orwell time period in where love is being suppressed, where those who are in love with one another are encouraged to separate, or the darkness around them is causing them to separate, just the world in which they live. And I love this lyric. It says, "When you're lovers in a dangerous time, sometimes you're made to feel like your love's a crime." And when I think about those of us that are ministering to God's people, that may be the day and age, the time that you feel like you're living in, right? When we're lovers of God, when we're lovers of the church, sometimes we're made to feel like that love is a crime. Or that it's a waste, or we've poured so much of ourselves out, we've not received anything back, and we can be burned out or ready to blow up, or ready to break down. And so, yeah, when we're in a time like we are now, where things are tough, when conversations are hard to have, when there's so much polarization, when we really were trained maybe in seminary or in our undergraduate on how to write a sermon and how to visit people in the hospital, but we weren't really trained how to cultivate a soul and cultivate a spirit that is resilient in times like these. Sometimes it feels like it's really, really tough. So if you're a lover of God, lover of Christ, lover of his church, lover of the role that you have as a leader and a lover of the church, then I just want to encourage you. Yeah, sometimes it feels like everybody is up against us. And so it says, sometimes you're made to feel like your love's a crime. Nothing worth having comes without some kind of fight. Got to kick at the darkness till it bleeds daylight. Again, I thought the line in the U2 song was great. This is even better, right? So, what we're doing as living out our calling, loving and leading God's people, growing our capacity to love the Lord our God with all of our heart, with all of our soul, with all of our mind, with all of our strength, that is worth it. And so, it's worth the fight. And I want to come here and fight alongside of you. And so I know that in ministry, when I set out to create this organization to serve church leaders, to help them work through some of the most difficult things that they've faced. I've noticed a handful of patterns that seem to be facing almost every minister, every church leader out there today. Things like depression and anxiety, learning how to emotionally understand those kind of things, anger and resentment, anger against when things aren't working out the way that you thought, resentment when there are other people that are undermining what you believe God is calling you to do, or resentment against people who aren't as faithful as you, but it looks like their life is more fruitful than you. That can cause some anger and resentment. Relational issues. There is no perfect church. There's no perfect church leader. And oftentimes, the friction that we find ourselves in is some sort of relational issue. That depression and anxiety, that anger and resentment, it comes from some sort of relational incident, some sort of relational issue between somebody else. How can we deal with those things in an appropriate manner and come out more healthy on the other side? Raising kids. Many of us are struggle with the stereotype of the preacher's kid or the volunteer's kid, the elder's kid, whatever that looks like. We have this burden to raise our kids well, and then oftentimes when we lose our job or we're called to some other ministry, uprooting our kids and trying to plant them in some other place. And so, raising kids with your spouse can be an issue as well. Unmet needs and unmet expectations, maybe even unrealistic expectations. We thought ministry was going to be this, and now we find ourselves, it looks more like this. And so, helping ministers work through unmet needs and unrealistic expectations. And then a lack of encouragement. You may hear, hey, great sermon. You might hear, hey, that was really good, or I'm enjoying this ministry. But more often than not, we're hearing the criticisms. We're hearing the things that aren't going well, or we're hearing the things that aren't meeting the needs of other people. And so there's oftentimes, as a minister, there's a lack of encouragement. And I want to come and be able to give you the encouragement that you need. There's stress in ministry. There's good stress and there's bad stress. There's the good stress may be when more and more people are coming to your church, and the bad stress may be when less and less people are coming to your church. Or those could be maybe good things as well, right? You've lost some of those families that you blessed them to go someplace else, or you've got an influx of a certain group of people, and there's the stress of now that they're here, what are we going to do with them? How can we serve these people? How can we bring them into the body and make them feel as one? How can we put them to work in God's kingdom as well? So stress, good and bad stress, meets us in ministry. And then one of my biggest frustrations is dysfunctional systems. I am a systems and processes guy. Not that I believe they're the savior of the church, but when systems and processes are in place, they ought to make our lives easiest. They ought to serve us. Right, we're not there to serve the system. System serves us, makes our lives a little easier, or helps us navigate things when things get tough. And a lot of times, either church systems are non-existent, or they've broken down at some place. We've got a failure of nerve to address those broken systems. And so that's really what Kicking at the Darkness is all about. And so here on this first day of Advent, I want to come alongside of you, bring you some encouragement, and point you to the light. You don't have to be stuck in that depression and anxiety, the anger, the resentment. You don't have to be stuck in those relational issues. You don't have to worry and be on your own about raising your kids and your family. You don't have to worry about those unmet needs or unrealistic expectations. I want to come alongside of you and help you work through those things. I definitely want to give you an encouragement if that's what you feel like you're lacking. And I want to help you navigate stress. I want to help you create systems that will help you in your ministry to thrive both personally and professionally. That's what I want to do as your coach, as a friend, and as a consultant. So John 1:5 says this: the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. I think the very first person to kick at the darkness was Christ. He kicked at the darkness of people who didn't know him. He kicked at the darkness of the people that thought that they were religious and doing the right thing, but they were ignoring the people right in front of them. They were ignoring what a real relationship with God and God's people looked like. Jesus kicked at the darkness of our sin, and he kicked at the darkness of death. And now, what we have access to the light. The darkness has not overcome it because of Christ. So that's why I'm here. That's why I want to help you. That's what I want to spend the rest of my life is just being useful to men and women like you who are leading and loving God's people. I want to kick at the darkness just like Christ did. I want to kick at the darkness just like I know you want to as well. So that's really the first part of the video. Just again, I'm here on this first day of Advent explaining why the name Kicking at the Darkness. And then the second part is this. This month, I am embarking on a role and a job that I have been looking forward to since I started this ministry. I love one-on-one coaching. I love getting with small groups of leaders to help work through issues or, just kind of be a catalyst for thinking and for change and for encouragement. But I'm getting to work alongside a full church staff for the foreseeable few months to be able to work with them on somewhat of an overall church health assessment, to be able to analyze maybe what ministries are doing well, what ministries could have some changes and some tweaking in order to be be more effective, and then finally maybe start or stop some things that may be hindering them from growth. I'll be leading church interviews. I will be doing, especially here this first month, doing what I'm calling kind of a learning adventure. I'm trying to ask a lot of questions. I want to get with people face to face. I'm going to be offering a church assessment tool to work through to, again, assess kind of where we are right now, where this church is right now, and where we're able to go, where we want to go in the future. So, clarity is the key here for this first month. I want to understand where we are so that we can understand where we want to go. And so this again is not numbers as far as budgets and buildings and butts in the seats. I'm not so much interested in that, although I'll be asking some of those questions. But I want to get behind some of those data points. I want to ask some broader questions about the overall health. Of and maybe even the perception of how this church sees themselves, how the community sees them, and begin to dream and create a vision for the future. And so I recently was able to hear a woman named Nana Jones speak at the Modern Church Leaders Conference, and she talked about being data informed versus data driven. Right? Again, the butts, budgets, buildings, noses, numbers, those type of things. While they're important to have, we can't be driven by those because there's not really a context, right? You may look at the weekly attendance of your church over the last 10 weeks and it's a certain number. But beyond that, as a culture, people are only coming to our churches right now about once a month, maybe twice a month. And so when you look at that raw number, or the data in data driven would be like, well, we've got to do something to increase our attendance. Well, what's behind that? What's the data informed decision that can be made by going, okay, well, we actually have more of these people connecting to our church. Maybe it's not every week, but we've got more than just the number of people that come on a given Sunday. What are we doing to engage them? What are we doing to, when they're not here, are we discipling them? Why is it maybe that they're not coming once a month? Is there a sports thing? Is there a family thing? Is it just a transient community where people are moving and traveling and doing all that? Right? Being able to kind of ask them those questions. So I don't want to be data driven, but I want to use data. I want to be data informed so that we can make great decisions. And so I'm going to be traveling to that church next week. So I am this week planning. I've been gathering all of the options for us. I've been writing out some questions. I've been reaching out to some other people that have been kind of at this stage of the consulting process, and I'm looking at my schedule for next month. I am super excited to be working with this church and being able to have the opportunity to travel and pour into these church leaders. I'm going to be doing some one-on-ones with everybody, staff, elders, high-level volunteers. I'm going to try and pack in as much as I can. I'm going to leave it all at that church the weekend that I'm there, and then come home and do some rest that way. But I am just super excited about this opportunity. And so I want to just document what I'm doing. I want to document what I'm doing because it might be helpful to you. I want to document what I'm doing so that I can maybe understand some of my mistakes and explore some of my victories. So I'm super excited, and I want to bring you guys along on the journey as much as I can. So I'm just going to be recording at different times, and I'm going to just, I don't know, document the journey, document the adventure. So I'm glad that you're here. So, having said all that, what do you need? All right, during this season of darkness, it's getting darker every night a little bit earlier. I love that December 21st is going to be the longest night of darkness, and then we incrementally begin getting more and more sunlight as we head towards daylight savings time, or what's really as we head towards the Easter season. So, I love that about how the world works. So, what do you need right now? Do you need some encouragement? Do you need a listening ear, somebody to give you some hope right now, right? Somebody to be able to hear your story, give you a an open, safe place to share, provide you some perspective, and then send you off with some encouragement? Do you need some hope? Or maybe you need some clarity. Maybe you've got some vision and ideas, some dreams for the next season of your life. Maybe you need some clarity on the steps you need to take, the prioritizing, making, putting things in order. I would love to be able to help you do that. I'm trained and I have certification in some of not John Maxwell, some of oh man, I'm drawing a blank here. It's full focus now. Michael Hyatt's the focus planner, and also a retreat where you can spend a day or two planning out the next 10 years of your life. What would you like to see happen with a life plan? I'm certified, and I would love to be able to help you with that. And then finally, maybe you just need some growth, something to help you sustain the strength that you already have. You're in the green, you're growing, but you just need some tips and some help and some encouragement to come alongside of you to help you continue to grow. I would love to be able to help you do that. So you can always comment. Down below, you can always reach out to me on my social media channels at MJ Felker on Instagram, at Michael Felker on X or Twitter. And so I would love just to be able to connect with you, see what I can do to best help you, whatever I can do to provide you some hope, clarity, and strength to help you kick at the darkness so that you can thrive personally and professionally in your life. So I hope you have a great night and welcome to Advent season. Bye bye.